Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time that you're here watching this video, please subscribe. I hope you enjoy the video. So if you enjoy it after you watch it, please subscribe. And if you've been here before, you should have subscribed already because we are so close to 6,000 subscribers. Fantastic followers, whatever they call them. I can't remember on YouTube. Well, it was an unhappy Sunday for us Knicks fans. Unfortunately, the New York Knicks could not enact revenge on the one team that managed to beat them in this summer league, and that was the Portland Trailblazers. They met them again for the championship game, and they lost 85-77. I gotta say, right off the bat, they had the size, the length that the Trailblazers had really bothered the Knicks. It bothered Quentin. They were double teaming him. They were blitzing him, loading up on him constantly. They made his life very difficult, especially in the beginning. Also, the Trailblazers, even though they got called for 32 fouls, the Knicks got 32 free throw attempts. They got away with a lot of fouls. The Trailblazers. Keon Johnson was constantly pawing at Grimes, bumping him, and they weren't called. In fact, there was one play when the Knicks had cut the lead down to 7 points, and Quentin tried to drive right. He was at the top of the three-point line, tried to drive right, and Keon just slammed into him. Quentin tripped, the ball went out of bounds, and that was it. There was no foul call. So it was a weird game in terms of that, and then Sims got into some foul trouble himself, and that also hurt the Knicks. Even though Potter in the second half and gave a few good minutes, in the first half he did not. They just don't have, the Knicks don't have that. The summer league team just didn't have enough size. Let's just be frank about it. And the decision making was pretty poor. I would say they didn't respond well to the pressure that the Trailblazers had been giving them. You would have thought, facing them a second time in less than a week, that they would have been aware of what the Trailblazers were going to do, and they weren't. Deuce also was I was disappointed in Deuce's inability to really get past the main point of attack. He was having that trouble, and then he actually got burned a couple of times. He went going for steals. I think Brendan Williams kept beating him, getting around him. It was disappointing because it would have been nice for the Knicks to win this championship, just in terms of psychologically. It's not that big a deal at all. I was watching more the decision making, and that's actually what disappointed me the most. I felt like there were times where they were just passing up. I think they were 1 in 12 from the 3-point line at one point, where they finally finished. They finished 6 of 25. So you can't win. You shoot 24% from the 3-point line and only put up 25 3-pointers. Look at the Trailblazers. They shot 11 of 33, hit 33.3% of theirs, and they kind of went cold in the fourth quarter. So they were shooting at a much higher percentage when they built that lead. For a long stretch, the Knicks could not get back in it. They started out the first quarter, it was okay, 14-12. They were up 14-12. In the second quarter, the Trailblazers just went crazy. That second unit of the Trailblazers is so far superior to the second unit of the Knicks. They outscored the Knicks 29-16 in that second quarter. The third quarter, it looked like the Knicks were trying to get back in it, and they were, but again, faltered, and they lost that quarter 19-16. But they made a valiant effort to make the game closer. They got it under 10 points. At one point, it looked like Trailblazers were going to build. I think they got the lead up to about 17 points, 16 points. What was the largest lead? It doesn't say here. They got it up to a decent amount, and it looked like, the game could totally get away from the Knicks completely. They didn't. They fought back. They cut it down to 7 again. And finally, there was one terrible possession that they couldn't get anything going, and then the Deuce just bailed them out, hit a three-pointer from the top of the three-point line. And then Grimes came down and finally hit one, a nice little screen curl. But they really couldn't get anything going. And even though Grimes did finish with, what did he finish with? 19 points. 19 points, but it took 16 shots, only 2 of 11 from the three-point line. The Knicks, it's the rebounding. They just don't have size. They don't have enough size, this team, to deal with the Portland and their length. But again, it's not that big a deal, really. In terms of, here we go. Fred Katz tweeted this out, which I agree with, so I want to share with you guys. The Blazers just beat the Knicks in the Summer League Championship game. Portland's defense hounded Quentin Grimes all game. Grimes finished with 19 points on 5 of 16 shooting. Tremendous encouraging Summer League from Grimes as a scorer and passer. Looked like way more than a 3-and-D. And he definitely did. Imagine how much easier his life's going to be when he's on the court with RJ and Jalen Brunson. It's just going to be so much. He's going to get much better looks. He's not going to get double teamed. And he'll be able to rattle off, like in his string those 4 3-pointers in a row that we've seen him do. And he did it in the Summer League. And he'll continue to do it in the regular season. If you are looking at this game as a way to judge him and his value in terms of a Donovan Mitchell trade, don't be prisoners of the moment. These guys are playing in Vegas. Who knows what's going on there? Having been there a couple times, players definitely, they lose focus sometimes. And when you're the main guy and you're being constantly hounded, hounded, basically, it's Fred's word, it's really different. You're just not used to it. And it takes time to adapt to it. Doesn't mean that he can't. See, that's the thing. Don't think of him, he just can't ever be that Klay Thompson light type of guy who, when he's double teamed and pressured, he can't be effective and score. Don't assume that. It takes time to adjust to that. When you've been him all this time, getting easy looks off of other people, it takes a little time to make that mental adjustment on how to create your offense when you are the main guy. So don't overread into this. I will not. I wish that he had played better, absolutely. But, props to Portland. I mean, they put length on him. They bothered him a lot. And then Keon Johnson was just a pest. And, I always liked him. I liked him. I thought he had some nice potential last season. And it's ironic because they were actually technically traded for each other. But in the end, Quentin's shooting will always be there, even though it wasn't there in the first 3 quarters, basically. Let's move on to the stats. You can see Trevor Keel's very disappointing this game. A lot of turnovers, mental mistakes, but the whole team, that first quarter and a half, I guess the whole first half, there was just a tragedy in terms of ball handling and decision making in terms of turnovers. They gave the ball up so many times unnecessarily, trying to make the cross-court passes when it was unnecessary, not seeing available teammates at the right moment. That's the difference between this level of player and then the next level that we're used to watching all the time. It's just the decision making so much sharper. They see things before they even happen, and that's really the key to to winning basketball. These guys were just not, they didn't have it today. And Ferron Hunt, 4 of 10, he was also incredibly disappointing. He got beat a lot. They tried to go for steals, and that turned into basically easier opportunities for Portland. Very disappointing game from him, especially when Grimes is being double teamed like that. Hunt should have been the one to step up and fill that role, and he didn't. And even Deuce also did not. Look at his 4 of 10, 40% he shot. 2 of 5 from the 3-point line. That was that one lucky one. Actually, he had the only 3-pointer. No, Ferron Hunt had the only 3-pointer made in that first half. It was pretty dismal, I gotta say. Jeffries, he can shoot. I think CK tweeted it out that Jeffries should have gotten all the minutes that Keels got. Yeah, for sure. But you know what? It's Summer League. They want to see what their draft pick from this season can do. So I'm fine with that. One guy that did not have a good game, Montero. Look at that. 0 for 4, 0 for 3. He was hurt. I think his size hurt him. So that just shows why he went undrafted. Up and down, look at that, 24% from the 3-point line, 40% the Knicks shot overall. The Knicks only got 60 shots up in the air because they just committed turnover after turnover, 18 turnovers. 18 turnovers in a 40-minute game, and they cut down the turnovers in that fourth quarter. Can't remember, but just very disappointing. The rebounding, I feel like every time there was a loose ball, once again, Portland is the one that came up with it. No hustle there. Even though the rebounding by the end was a lot closer, 37-32, but 11 offensive boards for the Trailblazers. When Sims wasn't in the game, it was a disaster in terms of rebounding. Assists, look at that, 16 only. The ball stopped moving. They weren't making that extra pass to get that better look. A lot of bad habits came back and crept in. Bad habits that we've seen that the real Knicks are culpable of. Portland, look at that, 7 blocks. We only had 1 block. Yeeks. 18 turnover. Yeah, I already called that out. The fouls, look, they were pretty even, interestingly. But the Knicks ended up going to the free throw line 32 times. Interesting. They did hit almost 72%, which is decent. But overall, one thing is our boy Sims has got to hit his free throws. What were his free throws, Sims? 5 of 9. 5 of 9. Deuce hit all 7 of his free throws, and Grimes hit 7 of 10, which is good because he was also kind of struggling from the three-point line. Well, so that was the Summer League. You can tell I'm a little disappointed about this because if the Knicks are going to catch grief, we're going to catch grief no matter what. Lose, catch grief. Win, they make fun of you anyway. It doesn't mean anything. So I love how it's going to mean something because we lost. But if we had won, it wouldn't have meant anything. That's the life of a Knicks fan. We are the butt of jokes for the rest of the NBA. But I got a feeling that's going to come to an end pretty soon because the Knicks were the second best Summer League team this year. They played well, generally. Grimes, sensational. He might still get the MVP. Not sure he will, but he might still get it for the overall Summer League. And Deuce showed some nice flashes. He had a nice breakout game. Sims, I mean, his ability to dribble out from the three-point line and take it to the hole and make a pass from the paint if he couldn't make it all the way to the basket. Beautiful. I love these. There's been some eye-opening things this entire Summer League, things that can really make you feel hopeful for that second unit that the Knicks are going to have next season. I'm enjoying a little cocktail here. I forgot what it was called, pineapple teeny or something, pineapple appletini or something. So there was a lot of things here to be encouraged about for that second unit, and I don't think that this should all negatively impact anything that is being discussed or was being discussed between the Utah Jazz and the New York Knicks. In fact, it actually helps the Knicks' position in this situation. Grimes has a lot of value, and Utah's already expressed their desire to trade for him. So let's see in that Mitchell deal. It's just a matter of what else goes along with him. So we shall see. All right, thank you so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. Please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and please subscribe because we're almost at 6,000. It'd be great if you can be the 6,000 follower. Be awesome. Subscriber, whatever they end up calling it. All right, and I will see you, and drop your comments around the Knicks-Verse.